All right. I know I say this every week, but I don't have a whole lot of time to do the stream this week because I really want to see Ghost in the Shell today. And apparently, there's only one showing at my theater that is not in 3D, and that's at 5:30. And I really want to go to that one because hashtag fuck 3D. So let's not dawdle. Let's just get right to it. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat room. So I always have to check the audio now. Sorry, my throat. Had something to eat, had a throat lozenge. I'm drinking all the time, and my throat's still bothering me. God damn it. Just the way it is now, apparently. Alright, let's go. So, Impact Wrestling this week begins with a backstage management meeting between Dutch and Pritchard and JB and all those people. And I guess the point of this is to show that everybody has a problem with Josh Matthews. Everybody hates Josh Matthews. I don't think the segment was really necessary because it seems like everybody in the company hates this guy right now. But okay. Also, Karen wants to see Sienna in the ring because we just have to have a Karen Jarrett segment, don't we? Fuck's sake. So, with that out of the way, we begin the show proper, and of course, the show proper begins with Karen Jarrett. Yeah, Karen Jarrett's opening the show now, and this is after we got promos for this episode that featured Karen prominently. And by prominently, I mean they featured her more than EC3 and Sienna combined. Because she's the real star of the show. She's who everybody's coming to see. Karen fucking Jarrett. It's starting already. I warned you guys. I told you this was going to happen. It's starting already. Don't say I didn't warn you. So anyway, Karen comes out, and immediately she begins talking out of her ass. She says that Maria Kanellis leaving due to her nervous breakdown has caused a lot of unprofessional behavior in the Knockouts locker room. Or, dare we say it, bullying behavior. Which is actually bullshit because if anything, Maria leaving has caused the behavior in general in the Knockouts locker room to improve. Because who was the biggest bully in the Knockouts locker room? Maria! So if anything, it's gotten better since she left. But no. Karen would have us believe that there's a lot of bullying going on, and she won't stand for it, by God. So, yeah, because Karen's like some fucking saint, right? Because she's never been a bully ever in her entire tenure in this company. Yeah, she's never been a bully. So Karen's the perfect person to call someone out on this, right? Ugh. So anyway, she calls out Sienna, and again, we're getting to see Sienna finally talk for herself, which is nice. And to have somebody with mic skills as good as Sienna's confronting Karen, it's good because she's not just going to sit there and take it. She's not standing for anything Karen's going to throw at her. She's going to fire right back. And it helps when Karen doesn't really have a leg to stand on, because what has Sienna done that's made her such a bully? She threatened Allie and Braxton Sutter one time, and that's it. That's the only thing she's done recently that could be construed as bullying. If you want to get technical, Laurel Van Ness has been more of a bully than Sienna has recently. Of course, she never gets brought up. Because, the question, the topic of conversation turns to, how each person got there. And Sienna actually makes a great case here. She says, she got there based on her own merit and her own talent and her own class. And Karen got there because of who she married, who she was sleeping with. And, Sienna's not wrong, guys. that is pretty much why Karen is there. Okay, she got there because she was sleeping with Kurt Angle, and she stayed there because she was sleeping with Jeff Jarrett. Or because she married Kurt Angle, and she married Jeff Jarrett, if you want to keep things classy. But yeah, that's why Karen's there. Everybody knows that. So Karen is basically a huge hypocrite in this segment. And she wants Sienna to apologize, even though Sienna really didn't say anything wrong. She was just telling the truth. And so she gives her like a 15 count, and Sienna's she's just sitting there. She's not putting up with any of this garbage. And before Karen can finish the 15 count, this huge, like, jacked up motherfucker comes out, and this is Sienna's cousin, KM. Not sure what KM stands for. I don't know who this guy is. But he's playing KM, Sienna's cousin. And instantly the guy is awesome. The guy's a fucking stud. He's not putting up with anything, not putting up with any of Karen's bullshit. Gets right in her face, tells her to shut the hell up. My man. Big KM. This guy is fucking awesome. Instantly, he's the biggest fucking hero in the Impact Zone. Shut the hell up, Karen. Big KM. I love this fucking guy already. Just him and me, we're like that. So he demands respect from Karen. And why the fuck shouldn't he? You know, Sienna and KM, their family, their actual talents, their competitors, and they got there on their own merits. Not unlike what Karen did. So he starts demanding respect from Karen, and of course, you know, she's being all timid and frightened, and so this brings out Allie and Braxton Sutter to protect her, because God knows we have to protect Karen Jarrett, because if anything were to happen to Karen Jarrett, the whole operation would collapse. Because as we learned last week, Karen Jarrett is absolutely integral to the company's success. Absolutely integral. Without Karen, the whole company would be lost. That's what they'd have us believe. So they fight. So Allie and Braxton Sutter, they dispose of Sienna and KM, and now Karen's all pissed. Now that she's got, you know, people to stand behind. Now she's pissed. Now she's found her voice again, and she's like, "Oh, you wanna get in my face like that? How dare you talk to a woman like that?" And then, so she puts KM in a match with Braxton Sutter for later, because KM dared to talk to a woman like that. But that's the thing, Karen. KM didn't talk to a woman like that. He didn't. Because you're not a woman, Karen. By your own admission, you are not a woman. Remember that time that you admitted that you have giant male genitalia? Do I need to play the clip again?
I've got the biggest set here.
There you go. KM is awesome. Karen sucks. Checkmate, motherfucker. So, that's what we can take away from that segment. Sienna is great, KM is fucking awesome, and Karen is awful. Get off my TV, Karen. So after this, we have a match. An X Division match. And, hey, get a load of this. It was actually a one-on-one match. Not a multi-man car wreck spot fest. It was actually something that was progressing a feud of some kind. Okay, nice. Let's have more of these, please. So we get DJZ versus Andrew Everett. Good match, as you would really expect from these two. Everett wins. Okay, cool. So we're still doing the Andrew Everett-Trevor Lee feud. Awesome. Happy to see that. And so we get Trevor Lee and Shane Helms coming out afterwards. And apparently it's going to take more than that to get Andrew Everett a title shot. Not sure why, because not that long ago he got a title shot for doing pretty much nothing. Okay, whatever. But he's going to have to earn one, and Shane Helms, he's a nice guy. So out of the goodness of his heart, he's going to give Andrew Everett an opportunity to earn a title shot next week. Okay, seems like kind of an odd thing for a heel to do, but whatever, I can roll with that. So yeah, nice to see an actual feud, an actual storyline in the X Division. We need more of that. So it's good. I really hope DJZ won't get lost in the shuffle, because he was doing some really great work last year, and now that the guy is finally healthy, I expect that'll continue. So I hope they've got something planned for him too. And then we have finally some goddamn focus on Rosemary. Jesus Christ. Because there haven't been nearly enough of that lately. So we have a Knockouts burial segment, ironically, starring the woman who's been elevating the Knockout division with her title reign. Yeah, you figure that out. So JB introduces Rosemary as one of the most dominant Knockouts champions in history, and I appreciate the thought. I appreciate him calling her that, but it's kind of odd since she's really only had like 4 title defenses, including the match where she won the title. But again, appreciate the thought. You want to call her the most dominant Knockouts champ? Go right ahead. I'm cool with that. Rosemary's my girl. So anyway, I like the idea of this segment. Anything that puts Rosemary over, I'm on board with. But it was awkwardly placed, because the time to do a segment like this would have been after her feud with Jade. Not after she was recently made to look like a chump by Brandy fucking Rhodes of all people, and then getting beaten up by Diamante. So it was a little bit awkward. Because like I said, Rosemary and the Decay, they haven't been booked all that strongly in the last couple of weeks. So doing a segment like this now, it doesn't have the impact that it should. Anyway, so they talk a little bit, and Rosemary's like, there's no one left for her to destroy. As JB asks her who's left, and she says, there's no one! We've made the whole Knockout division decay. Which, again, is not entirely accurate, because she's really only had 2 feuds, and one of those feuds was just one match. She beat Jade, and she beat Sienna at a one-night-only show, and that's it. So there's actually quite a few people left for her to destroy. So there's some storyline rejiggering here, which was awkward. And when she starts on with this, and she's like, "There's nobody left," I start getting a bad feeling, guys. I have a feeling I know what's going to happen, and it's just this horrible sinking feeling in my gut, and I'm just saying to myself, anyone but ODB. Anyone but ODB. I know someone's coming out, but anyone but ODB. So ODB comes out, and, oh, God. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. So she says, hey, I'm one of the originals. Yeah, without us, you wouldn't even be here. And pretty soon I'm gonna be a 5-time knocked up champ. Bam! And fuck's sake. I hate ODB. I hate everything about her. I hate her promos. I hate that she cuts the same damn promo every time. I hate that she has the same goddamn match every time. I hate that she calls it the knocked up championship. It's so... Anyway, because Rosemary's awesome, she basically tells ODB to fuck off, and you're not worthy and whatever, and she tries to leave, because ODB's not even worth her time, and she's not. Because, something, when ODB says, yeah, I'm one of the originals, motherfucker, yeah, that's true, ODB, and you know what that means? It means you're old, and it's not your time anymore. Go away! At least fucking make friends with a treadmill or something. This whole thing makes me very nervous. ODB being anywhere within 100 yards of the Knockouts Championship makes me nervous. But if they're actually gonna do a feud now, I'm scared, you guys, because what have we been seeing for the last couple of weeks? Well, in large part, we're seeing anyone who represents the previous regime getting thrown under the bus to put over Jarrett's guys. Well, ODB is one of Jarrett's guys. Girls, whatever. The ODB, it's hard to tell. So, And again, the decay ain't been booked so well since the new regime took over. I'd like to think they wouldn't be stupid enough to put the title back on ODB when Rosemary's title reign has been so goddamn good, but I'm not sure they wouldn't do it. It'd be fucking idiotic, but they might do it. I'm concerned. I really am. So Rosemary's trying to leave, and then it gets weird because all these women come out, but it's not really the roster that comes out. It's all these new people for the most part. All these girls that they brought in for Knockouts Knockdown that's getting that's happening. That was going to be taped pretty soon, and some of them we haven't even seen yet on the show. Like this girl Amanda Carolina Rodriguez, I think we haven't seen her. I think she might have been on Explosion or something. But so yeah. Madison Rain starts them off on the microphone, and she actually makes a really good point, saying she doesn't know who most of these people are, and yet neither does the audience. That's the problem. What the hell are they even doing out there? Because kayfabe-wise, most of these girls don't have contracts. So what are they doing confronting the Knockouts champion like this? Makes no sense. But then it gets weird because Madison points out that she should be getting a title shot. Her, Madison Rain. Now, granted, the day has passed when I had a lot of issues with Madison Rain, shall we say. My longtime viewers know that. They know she hasn't always been my favorite. But, that was then, and she's changed herself since then, and she's addressed all the problems I had with her. Don't really have any problems with Madison Rain anymore. Problem is, she really hasn't done anything in quite a while at this point. When's the last time she won a match? When's the last time she even had a match? I'm not sure. So Madison's really in no position to be demanding a title shot either. She has a better case than some of these newbies, but still. Oh, and she also has a better case than Brandy fucking Rhodes, who starts talking next. And oh god, Brandy just gets on my nerves so much. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, oh well, hey, Rosemary, you tried to work all your mind games on me and they didn't work. So hey, where's my title shot? I want a title shot. Fuck you, Brandy. This Brandy bothers me so much because it seems like she has no idea how entitled she sounds. And that's a problem. That's just from inexperience. She really doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know how she comes off. Brandy hasn't done a thing. She's green as grass. She hasn't even had a singles match yet on Impact. And here she is wanting a title shot. She hasn't even fucking earned the right to do this. She hasn't earned the right to demand a title shot from the champion. She's done nothing. Exactly nothing. She comes off as completely entitled, and it bugs the hell out of me. It's like she has no idea, like from the way she presents herself, this is the way she comes off, and it's awful. I just want to smack her. And then finally, Diamante, the new girl, that's Angel Rose, the new girl in LAX, she gets us back on track. She basically just wants to fight somebody. And then this huge brawl starts because Rosemary pushed Madison into Diamante. That was funny. So they start brawling, and Rosemary and ODB kind of trail off on their own, and I guess that's going to be a feud now. God help us. Oh, I just want Rosemary to just obliterate ODB and drop her in a dumpster somewhere. But I'm worried that they're going to put ODB over Rosemary. It's just, oh, God. All right, here's the issue that I have. Well, one of them, anyway. All these women come out. They're all asking. They all seem like they want a title shot, but they don't seem to be interested in doing anything to earn one. Brandy especially. Ironically, it was Diamante who made the best case for herself because she was the only person who wasn't asking for a title shot, not demanding anything. She just wanted to fight somebody. So Diamante was the one who came off the best here of the prospective challengers. I kind of like to see that. Plus, I mean, she did beat up Rosemary recently, and she did it again in the main event. So, Diamante looks like the best challenger right now. Let's explore that. Really conflicted on the segment. I like the knockouts getting a talking segment. I like the focus on that, but it just seems like the focus was on the wrong type of stuff. And it was ill-timed in general. Because Rosemary hasn't been booked so strong. And the whole ODB thing is just, no. Just get her off the screen. I don't want to see ODB anymore. Go away. She's irrelevant. She's old news. She's done. Go away. So, then we have another talking segment with EC3. EC3 comes out. He apologizes to Karen for the way he acted last week, because maybe he got a little bit heated, and especially backstage afterward when Pritchard had to calm him down. You know, we're still teasing the heel turn, but it's going to be a slow burn for the time being. And so basically he's saying, you know, he needs to refocus to get back to the guy who beat everyone, to get back to the real EC3, the unbeaten, unpinned, unsubmitted, unbowed, unbent, unbroken EC3. And hell yeah, because that guy's been kind of aimless, and they haven't had a lot of good stuff for him basically since the Eli Drake feud ended prematurely. And that sucks, because this is not a guy that you want to get off the rails with. Excuse me. You know, this is one of your top guys. This is one of the faces of the company. One of the guys you should be building around. You should have something good for him at all times. So he's not going to rest until he becomes the EC three-time world champion. And then James Storm comes out to confront him. And I'm all right. You put these two together, you're going to get something good, promo-wise. And so Storm, he confronts EC3 because, you know, EC3 didn't mention him. Talks about, you know, being the world champion, and you don't mention James Storm? What the fuck, man? And so instantly I'm rubbing my hands together in fiendish glee. I'm like, oh yeah, is this going where I think it's going? Oh hell yeah. Because Storm asks, he starts making a case for himself. He says, hey, EC3, where were you when at day one, TNA day one, the first night, where were you? And he's like, oh, I was watching the show at a friend's house because I was in high school. And I said, oh, where were you when I was in the match with Elix Skipper walking across the cage? Where were you? So he's doing that kind of the promo where the veteran confronts the like the rookie. He says, hey, where were you in all these great moments? You weren't there, you weren't ready yet. But it's not in a confrontational or heelish way. They actually have fun with this. Because they're both in babyface mode, which was interesting. So, yeah, Storm is really separating himself from the DCC. That's like, that seems to be done. And, I was all for them, rolling with the DCC and trying to make them a force, but they're not, okay, I guess that's not in the plan. But they're not wasting any time in putting James Storm into something else, and if it's in the world title picture, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, let's do that. I can get down with that in a hurry. A big fucking hurry. So, they're both making cases for themselves, and they're both playing to the crowd here, and it's not, Storm isn't doing this to bury EC3 or anything. No, they make it funny. It's a charming segment. And James Storm says he wants to be the world champion. Like, oh man, don't make me choose. Man, I love EC3, but James Storm has deserved this for so long. No one deserves to be the world champion more than James Storm right now, goddammit. Don't make me choose, because if you put a gun to my head, I think I'd have to go with James Storm, just because it's his time. It's been his time for a long time, but he hasn't gotten his time yet, goddammit. So, that'd be tough. But, EC3 says that the next challenger for Lashley's title should be chosen by the fans, which is odd, because wouldn't it be Alberto El Patron, since he kind of sort of has a win over Lashley already? Come to think of it, where is El Patron? He just kind of disappeared. After he beat EC3, where'd he go? It was strange. See, it was awkward that he wasn't involved in this. But I guess they're going to let the fans decide. I don't know if that's going to be an online poll or they're going to go by crowd reactions in the Impact Zone or something, because they are actually getting crowd reactions in the Impact Zone now. The crowd's coming back to life, which is nice. So I'm not sure how that one's going to work. It's going to be a vote or something. But yeah, a great promo segment here. Really fun. Good stuff. And so anyway, throughout the night we're getting videos, like introductory videos from all the new tag teams coming in. We get Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid and Reno Scum. I'm still not liking Reno Scum. I'm not digging these guys. I'm not digging their act. I don't like them. I am becoming a fan of Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid, mainly because of Garza Jr., but I'll get to that. And of course, we get LAX in the LAX clubhouse, and you can definitely see how it's pointing towards LAX coming out on top in the main event, because they're the ones that are getting the most promotion and the most focus gimmick-wise. They got their own entrance, off to the side of the Impact Zone or whatever. They're not coming out to the same entrance as everybody else, so they got their own entrance. So it's definitely pointing towards LAX, and I will get to that momentarily. First, we have a grand championship match. Cody Rhodes, after antagonizing Moose for several weeks after taunting Moose while Moose was in Japan, he finally gets his title match. And they finally play Cody's music at normal speed. Because lately, the last couple of months, whenever Cody was there, they played this weird slowed down version of his theme where they played it at like half speed or something. It sounded like shit. No, they finally played it at normal speed again. Sounds way better now. Thank you. Why couldn't you do that before? I don't know. So Cody accidentally kicks the judge, one of the judges in round one, which I think that's why he lost round one. I think that was what they were going for, because, I mean, otherwise him losing that round was very debatable. I was like, Moose won the round? Really? It kind of seemed like Cody was closing in on a win there. It was strange. I think that's what they were going for, though. And in the second round, there's this cool spot where Cody jumps off the top turnbuckle to Moose on the floor. Moose catches him, turns it into a powerbomb on the ring apron. Really fun spot there. And Moose gets a chair because he gets pissed off, and Cody uses Brandy as a human shield. Best use of Brandy all night. If only Moose just could have walloped Brandy with the chair. Anyway. Cody almost has Moose submitted as round two ends, and so he wins round two. And then Brandy gets pissed off and she leaves, so Cody is thrown off his game, and Moose ends up winning round three, even though they're kind of trading punches as the round three ends. So it's pretty evenly matched. Good match. Moose wins the split decision. So I'm not really sure where they go from here, because the babyface won the first match. Maybe if there had been some kind of DQ finish, maybe if Cody had gotten himself DQ'd rather than lose the match, it would have worked better. It would have made more of a case for them to continue this. But Moose wins, so where else do they go from here? Not really sure. Although I will say, can we please just keep Brandy with Cody? She comes off better when she's with Cody. I don't want to see her in the knockout division until she gets a lot better. And for God's sake, keep her away from Rosemary. I don't want her demanding a title shot. That just kind of turns my stomach. But then we get to the match set up by the woman who is vital to the company's success, who is integral to TNA, to Impact Wrestling's existence. We get Braxton Sutter versus Big KM. We get I thought this was a mixed tag at first. No, it's just Sutter and KM. So I'll say this: Sutter comes off a lot better when he's not being forced into the X division like a round peg in a square hole. I don't know why they couldn't put him in the mid card to begin with. Why put him in the X division? It made no sense because he doesn't wrestle that way. But yeah, he comes off better here, and it's a nice match. I want to see more of KM before I make a judgment on him. But yeah, I like him so far. He's got a cool finisher. That's nice. So all right, yeah, decent match. KM wins when Sienna gets Allie and Sutter's distracted by that. So okay, cool. And then post-match, Allie starts fighting Sienna, so we're seeing Allie be a little bit more proactive now. I do really want to see her get in the ring. Because I think they kind of slowed Allie's momentum a little bit when they started focusing on her and Sutter instead of Allie on her own. I don't hate Sutter or anything. I want to see more focus on Allie because it kind of feels like the heat on her has died down a little bit, or at least it did. At least it seemed like that until Laurel Van Ness, the jilted bridezilla, came out on the stage, and wow, huge reaction when that happened. Yeah, maybe that was some crowd sweetening or something, but it sounded like there was a big reaction when she confronted Allie. And she's like, "You!" How long has it been since this woman had a shower at this point? Was it like a month, over a month? And she's still chugging on that same bottle of champagne, and still in the wedding dress with her makeup all smeared. I don't know where this is going, but it cannot be stressed enough how much LVN is just crushing this angle. She's so entertaining. I look forward to seeing her every week at this point. So yeah. Good introduction for KM. Although it's another new person to keep track of. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna forget all these names. I swear we got like 3-4 new people last week alone, and now it's another guy. At least his name is simple to remember, but goddamn. It's so many new people all at once. I'm really hitting overload with this. Okay, so that brings us to our main event tag team title match. We have Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. versus Reno Scum versus The Decay versus LAX. And, gotta admit, with Cody and Aaron Rex now in the same company again, it would have been so cool if we had seen the reuniting of Team Rhodes Scholars. I'm just saying it would have been really cool.
Oh, you were not aware of this? Your posterior better contact someone at once. And if you're not down with that, we have 2 words for you. You're welcome.
Team Rhodes Scholars were awesome. Anyway, I'm quickly becoming a fan of Garza Jr. Leave it to this guy to turn tearing his pants off mid-match into a gimmick. It's the most random fucking thing, but it's entertaining. I'm already starting to look forward to him doing it every time he's in a match. Because it's just funny. He's like, "Stop!" And he just tears his fucking pants off. Yeah, good match. Yeah, we get Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. hitting those big moves to the outside. Going high risk there. LAX are really standing out. They hit that big powerbomb blockbuster combo thing on Laredo Kid, which was really cool. It should have been longer, though. It felt like we had, I don't know, maybe less than 15 minutes when it started, and then they go to a commercial break, and then we come back, and I wish they devoted more time to it. Because this is an important match. You're kind of relaunching your tag division here. Good match, though. Good match, though. I just wanted more of it. Also, I wish the Decay had won. Because it seems to me, and it's not just because I'm a huge Decay mark, but it seems to me like that would have given them the most to work with. Because right now, since the DCC are apparently, kaput, the Decay are really the only established tag team you've got. And instead of keeping them looking strong, it seems like they've been going the opposite direction. And they're just throwing the Decay under the bus in order to, push LAX to the fucking moon. And not that they shouldn't be doing that, but it shouldn't be at the Decay's expense, because that's really the best feud you can do right now. You want a hot feud to start out your new tag team division? LAX and Decay, it's really your only choice. So I thought putting it on Decay and to reestablish them and make them look strong after they've been made to look weak for a couple of weeks now would have been the best choice. Plus, it gives LAX a mountain to climb. You just start in LAX out at the top. Well, where do they have to go from there? The only established team they have to feud with are a team that they've kind of already gotten over on a couple of times. By the time they've won this match, so it just, I don't know. It felt a little counterproductive. I think Decay were the best choice to win. I think they should have won, because then you've got material for a real feud there. Instead, you've got this team that should be like the evil force of nature who crushes everything in their path, and then suddenly they look like the underdogs because the new regime is not booking them the way they should. I do like the new LAX a lot though, and I like Diamante a lot. She's cool. Looking forward to seeing her do stuff. So I'm not saying LAX is a bad choice to win, but you can kind of see it coming, and I get it. I do, because LAX is a big brand. They're a big homegrown act, and fans are going to get behind them. But it feels like it's come at the expense of the Decay, which is very stupid, in my opinion. Very stupid. Anyway, so that was Impact. I can't stand Karen Jarrett. I can't stand ODB. Get them both off my screen and keep them off. Otherwise, pretty good stuff here. They were playing fast and loose with continuity at times, like saying Sienna is this huge bully when it's really LVN who's been way worse. And saying that Rosemary has no one left to beat as the Knockouts champion when she's really only beaten 2 people as the Knockouts champion. Aside from that, matches were good, pacing was good. We got James Storm wanting to get into the world title picture. Hell fucking yeah, hashtag Storm for champ. So even though there were a couple things that I wasn't wild about, to put it mildly, still a really good Impact here. Good stuff. And I am going to open a window because I'm starting to sweat through these clothes again. Hang on 1 second. Oh, man. Sorry about that. All right, let's get through the chat room pretty quick. I don't have a whole lot of time before I want to get to the movie theater. Only good thing about the Karen segment was that it was introducing a new wrestler. Yeah, and if you play a new wrestler off of Karen Jarrett, I'm going to get behind the wrestler. So I guess that was productive. I don't think that was the intent, though. I think the intent was to have KM come off like an asshole, but Karen is so loathsome that it just had the opposite effect. Like I said, KM is the fucking hero, in my opinion, because Karen's awful. She comes off like a hypocrite. And now I'm supposed to hate this other guy for calling her on it and getting in her face? No, it doesn't work like that. Karen Jarrett doesn't tolerate bullying. My ass. Are we supposed to forget the whole 2011? Yeah, exactly. Ugh. She's a fucking hypocrite. Really impressed with the new LAX. Yeah. If I could offer like one criticism, I think they need to work on how they act in front of a camera a little bit, just a little bit, because I'm not sure where these guys came from, but acting in an indie match and acting to the camera is like 2 different things. So I just like to see them like maybe play to the camera a little bit more. But yeah, I'm really liking them so far. Think of the Broken Hardys using the Lake of Reincarnation to change the TNA tag belts into the Broken tag belts. Well, I'm impressed with the way they've used the broken gimmick to kind of milk something out of that situation. Haven't really been paying attention to it that much, but kudos in the creativity, I guess. LVN is awesome as this new character. Great acting from her. Oh, hell yeah. In terms of the character work, you'd never know that Chelsea Green is a rookie. Because, the work she's been doing in this storyline has a lot of the veterans beat. Like a lot of the there's a lot of veteran knockouts who couldn't do this. What she's doing right now. Gail Kim couldn't do this. ODB couldn't do this. Well, she could do a version of it, but ODB really only has one mode. LVN's showing a lot of different modes so far. So she's turning into quite a find. We're seeing levels of character work that I had no idea she was capable of. So she's got a bright future. I'm liking her a lot right now. The segment felt like it was originally written for Maria. You're probably right. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Karen Raptor said that she didn't like bullies and then acted like a bully. Exactly. I would rather see Robbie E on my TV than Karen Jarrett. It's that bad. Ugh, man. Well, at that point, it's like choosing which poison is going to kill you faster. Ugh. So is Storm a heel or a face? Kind of confused. I think he's a face. James Storm is. It's been a really quick transition because he was a heel like 2 weeks ago. But I think the new regime is just like kind of hitting the reset button and just doing away with the DCC thing as quickly as they can because they want James Storm to be a babyface. And it's an awkward transition, but if it gets James Storm into the world title picture, I can roll with it. Definitely. By the way, Josh Matthews isn't wrong at all when he says that JB just kisses the new management's ass. That's exactly what he's doing. Yeah. At the same time, there's a reason why JB has been around since the inception of the company. And he's lasted through several different regimes when a lot of other people have not. And that he knows how to ingratiate himself to management. So Josh might not necessarily be wrong, but hey, JB knows how to keep himself employed. And you can't fault him for that. KM stands for Kevin Matthews. Okay, cool. Thank you. Why did they give the new guy Samoa Joe's instrumental music? Did they really? Dale Oliver, do your job. Braxton Sutter has been using the explosion theme for a year now. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, well, I think Dale Oliver is doing his job to the best of his ability. I think the problem is that the best of his ability just isn't very good. I said on the HeelCast not that long ago that I didn't know why Dale Oliver still had a job. Because the guy has been producing subpar music for the company for years. And they've never really tried to get any other songwriters who might be better than him. Billy Corgan brought in somebody to do new music. And it was good, what little we heard of it. And then when Anthem took over, they got rid of her. And she even offered to let them continue to use her music free of charge, and they said, no, we're just going to let Dale Oliver do that. I don't get it. Why are they so attached to Dale Oliver? His music, nine times out of 10, his music is not very good. He's had some good themes. There's some good ones in there. He was partially responsible for Decay's new music, which I'm a big fan of, but he's had a lot more misses than hits. When Karen turns heel, I won't be watching Impact anymore. I'm just sick of heel authority figures on wrestling shows. Man, I'm sick of authority figures in general. It's one of the things I was really enjoying about the show for the last however long it's been, is that they didn't have an authority figure on the show. You know what? I didn't miss it. It's an overused concept. It's not necessary, if you think about it. It just takes time away from the wrestlers. And inevitably, when Karen does turn heel, but sooner or later it's going to happen, she's going to go back to the old heel persona where she's just screeching and screeching every promo, and she's, every other word is bleeped out, and the whole thing is going to be about her. She's going to start demanding all this attention because that's what the heel Karen does, and she's going to suck all this screen time away from the roster, because that's what happens. That's what happens every time they put Karen on TV. That's what happens. And, God, I can't believe we've gone from having no authority figures to having, 3, 4, is it? Who the hell knows? It's so unnecessary. I want to see these authority figures as little as possible. As little as possible. Never heard of KM, but he's got a cool finisher. Yeah, I like that a lot. Like a power bomb backstabber or something. It's cool. Problems I have with Impact is that there's too many people to the point where they don't showcase their top guy on a weekly basis. It does feel a little bit crowded. I think that's one of the problems they've had. They've brought upon themselves by introducing so many new people so quickly that people are getting lost in the shuffle. Reference Eli Drake. Where the hell is Eli Drake? We've barely seen him in a couple weeks. I mean, we saw what we saw him losing, getting pinned in a fucking random tag match. This guy should be on the fast track to the main events. And unfortunately, he's one of the people who are getting lost in the shuffle right now, and it's bullshit. Because they're so focused on introducing all these new people all at once that they don't have anything for Eli Drake. It's awful. EC3 versus Storm feud. I like both of them, but I don't know where this is going to go. My guess is it'll lead to them having a match for the number one contendership, and I think James Storm will probably win, and that'll be used to fuel the EC3 heel turn. Just a guess. Let's see. Slammiversary. Do you think it'll be a King of the Mountain match? Lashley, Patron, EC3, Storm, and Eli Drake, Moose, Magnus, Morgan. One of those four. I think they should do that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the return of the King of the Mountain match. It's actually one of the very few gimmicks that the company hasn't completely burned itself out on. And we haven't seen a King of the Mountain match in a while, actually. I would like to see a return of the King of the Mountain match, because it doesn't really feel like Slammiversary without one. But yeah, Lashley, Patron, EC3, Storm, and maybe a wild card, maybe a Cody or a Moose or something like that. Yeah, I'd like to see that. One of the positives of the new regime is that the X Division seems to be getting weekly TV time, which has been something unimaginable in the last few years. Not every week. It does at least seem like there's some kind of direction for the X Division now, which is a step in the right direction at least. The under the new regime, the X Division and Knockout divisions have been getting more than one feud. Well, I think the X Division has one feud. That's Trevor Lee and Andrew Everett. Yeah, the Knockouts, yeah, I guess we can kind of, they're splintering them off. I guess Angelina and Alicia qualifies, even though Alicia is not technically on the roster yet. To be continued. And then you got Rosemary doing she's kind of sort of feuding with Diamante, and I guess kind of sort of feuding with ODB. Ugh. But yeah, they're mixing it up there. Of course, again, it's a problem of, people getting lost in the shuffle, and for these TV tapings, it was Brooke, because she wasn't there. She was at an autograph signing or something. So Brooke is not somebody who should be lost in the shuffle either. Let's see. Funny how the heels always say stuff that makes sense and the faces seem like they were handed everything and are clueless. Yeah, that happens in WWE a lot. And there was definitely a case of that here. Brandy. And Karen, also. So, it's not effective when that happens. It doesn't make me want to rally behind a babyface. It just makes you think that the heel has a better argument and that the heels are the real babyfaces. Because at least they're telling the truth. Andrew Everett has got to have the worst theme on the roster. Well, he's got one of the worst themes, definitely. So Allie helped out Karen. I guess they really don't want Allie to be popular with fans anymore. Yeah, I'm worried that they're going to blow it with Allie. Because, I mean, her momentum is already slowed. So let's accelerate this LVN thing. Let's get it to wherever it needs to be going, so we can get back to focusing on Allie versus LVN, because that feud is over. I think fans want to see that feud. So let's get Allie in the ring and start getting fans to rally behind her again, because she was one of the hottest people in the company not that long ago, and the heat is cooling. I mean, it's still there. You gotta pump up the fire a little bit, but it's still there. So let's not lose that. New regime, Jarrett, Dutch, whoever, let's not lose that. You know what? I take ODB versus Rosemary over Brandy versus Rosemary any day of the week. I'm not saying I'm particularly excited for it, but at least it's a fresh feud between two totally different characters. Okay. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. But if I had to choose, ODB would be better than Brandy. Now, bear in mind, I hate ODB, but Brandy is just hitting all the wrong marks for me right now. And at the very least, if the worst happens and they have Rosemary lose the feud, at least she'd be losing the title to a former multi-time champion and not a fucking rookie who's done absolutely nothing. So that would be a little bit more tolerable. But I would still hate it either way. Because ODB's got no business going for the title anymore. No business at all. Who do you think Rosemary will feud with? Well, probably ODB for the short term. Because I guess Gail Kim's recovery has taken longer than she expected. She had an indie match booked that she had to back out of because she wasn't cleared yet when she thought she would be. So not sure when Gail is going to be back. And she's currently not even under contract, because I guess it expired while she was on the shelf. So the Gail Kim thing has been delayed for at least the near future, so I guess for now it's going to be ODB. Ugh. Do you know if Casey Quinn is good in the ring? Trying to remember which one is Casey Quinn. Yeah, Casey Quinn, I don't know. Honestly. I really don't know. I did not see Brooke again in Impact. I would like to see Rosemary versus Diamante. Yeah, Brooke wasn't at the TV tapings this week. She had a prior commitment, but as far as I know, she's still on the roster. She just wasn't there this time. I'd also like to see Rosemary versus Diamante. Me too. Too soon for Diamante to win the title, but I'd like to see her go after Rosemary for it. Because I've seen a little bit of her work on the indies, and she's damn good. So I think they could have some great matches. Hell yeah, let's do that. I'd take that over ODB going for the title any day. Judging by her Instagram, ODB seems to have moved on from wrestling. Don't expect her to stick around. I don't know. Jarrett likes her. Jarrett's very loyal to his people. So hopefully she won't stick around, but I don't know, man. I don't know. The backstage segments with LVN are awesome. The "they don't even exist" line made me laugh so hard last week. Yeah, she's doing great work, isn't she? Yeah, I hope they've got big things in store for her because she's just knocking this angle out of the friggin' park. It hasn't taken long for you to turn around on Madison. Oh, actually, it did take a long time, actually, because my longtime viewers know I couldn't stand her for quite some time. It took quite a while for her to address the issues I had with her. You know, she's done that. She's done that now, so I'm fine with Madison these days. But it took a while. It took quite a while. That is not something that happened overnight. They're doing a rated R Venom movie. Clearly not bandwagoning off Deadpool and Logan, right? Oh yeah, clearly not. They don't know what they're doing. They're gonna fuck it up. If Marvel's not involved, they're gonna fuck it up. EC3 as a heel again would be cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's time that happens. He's been a little bit too aimless as a babyface for a little while. Time for him to get back to the old heel EC3. Probably where he did his best work. What are the other DCC guys going to do now? Well, I wouldn't be against them just pushing Bram and Kingston as a tag team, as a duo. I'd be all right with that. Just to have another tag team in the mix. Of course, it doesn't seem like they're high on this group at all, so they'll probably just split them up. I think Kingston might be done soon because Jade's gone now, and she's back to going by Mia Yim on social media. So apparently she's not coming back, at least not anytime soon. And they kind of like to bring in couples in this company for some reason. So if you're on the roster and you've got a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife or significant other, whatever, and they're also a wrestler, then TNA is going to bring that person in just to make the person on the roster happy. They got so many couples now they could pretty much do a mixed tag division at this point. Not saying I want to see that, but I mean it's weird how that's coming together. So Jade's gone. So Kingston, I don't expect him to stick around much longer. I hope they keep Bram though, because God, that guy is underutilized. Reno Scum are good in the ring, but personality-wise, they're just kind of generic '80s personalities. Yeah, that's kind of my problem too. I just get the 1980s cheese vibe from these dudes, and it's just I'm not into it. I'm not into the punk thing. Dude comes out with this big mohawk and these gigantic sideburns. He looks like a fool. He looks like a friggin' clown. I'm like, dude, shave your sideburns, man. You look like an idiot. Good. Maybe they're good wrestlers. I don't know, but I just don't like them. They're just not into it. I thought Cody won the match. You kind of make that argument, yeah. Maybe that was what they were going for, like Moose won, but not without controversy, because maybe Cody should have won. Maybe it's because he accidentally kicked the judge, and the judge took points away or something like that, even though it was an accident. Who knows? Maybe that's how they'll continue it. Whose talent was used the worst, Alyssa Flash or Sarita? I'm going to say Alyssa Flash was used worse because they didn't do shit with her. They just used her as a jobber, which was ridiculous. Sarita wasn't used great by any means, but at least she kind of got a chance. I mean, at least she won matches from time to time. At least she had some kind of a title reign at one point. It was only for the knockout tag titles, but at least she had a championship. Alyssa didn't even get that much. She was Alyssa was barely allowed to win a match, which I didn't understand for the life of me because she was so good. And she got over when they barely did anything with her. It's like they didn't understand what they had with her. They were just idiots. I mean, Sarita, like I said, Sarita wasn't used great, but at least she got some kind of a chance. Alyssa didn't even get that much. It's a damn shame. Bring back the sound bites. You know, I was looking when I was when I picked out those before the stream started. I was actually looking at all those sound bites I had back when I was using those. I've got about 10 minutes worth of sound bites all together. It's about 10 minutes straight. I actually got a few I've never used before. Jeff Jarrett has been back for less than a month, and yet he's already ruining everything with his ego. Well, I mean, he has made some good calls. You know, he's advising Ed Nordholm on people to hire and whatnot. Bringing back Kevin Sullivan was definitely a good idea. Bringing back Scott D'Amore, good idea there. Some of the new talent they brought in are good hires. But like I said, you know, Jarrett he's very much about cronyism and nepotism. It's just something you have to deal with Jeff Jarrett. That's just who he is. It's what he's about. He's very loyal to his people. And if you're not one of his people, you're not going to get the same treatment. You might get treated fairly, but not favorably. And unfortunately, I think that's what we're seeing with the Decay right now, because they are not being booked as strongly as they should be, and it's going to hurt the tag team division if you don't treat them that way. And yeah, and of course, he's putting his wife back on TV. It's just, was anyone asking for that? Was anyone not named Jeff Jarrett asking for that? Oy. New management is a lot better than Dixie Carter. Oh, no question. You know, they've done more to improve the company's prospects in a matter of weeks than Dixie Carter did in a matter of years. You know, maybe we haven't agreed with every call they've made, but progress is finally being made. That's the important thing. Let's see. So KM went against Karen, so they wanted him to come off as a face. No, they wanted him to come off as a heel, because they're oblivious to how unlikable Karen is. They think Karen, you know, they want to present Karen as some kind of hero, because she's integral to the company's success. That's what they want people to think. They want people to think she's this gigantic babyface, because they want everybody to love Karen as much as Jeff does. Because when he sees Karen, he's just got stars in his eyes. He puts her on a pedestal, and he thinks that's how everybody else sees her too, but they don't. They don't. So he thinks if KM confronts Karen, then he's an instant heel, but in actuality, he's an instant babyface, because people don't like Karen. She's loathsome. Did not like the knockout segment other than Rosemary and Diamante. Yeah. Yeah, that was the problem, because like none of the women who wanted a title shot had a case for themselves. Really, none of them. Diamante made a better case for herself by not asking for a title shot and just wanting to fight someone. So she came the closest to actually looking like she wanted to prove herself instead of just being handed something. Okay. Let's glad they switched LVN's character. She is so entertaining to watch. Positives for lately is LVN, KM, EC3 versus James Storm, Allie, LAX, and Sienna. Okay, good. Garza Jr. is good. Not sure on Laredo Kid. Yeah, jury's out on Laredo Kid right now. Garza Jr. is standing out to me. I like this guy a lot. Okay, another person who does not like Reno Scum. All right. Not sure on most of the newbies, but I don't like Reno Scum. Okay. Yeah, I'm the same way. Can you imagine if they had a Karen, Robbie, Tyrus, ODB segment? That would be vomit-inducing. Oh, dude, don't give them any ideas. Although, if there's a silver lining, it would be maybe they could get them all out of the way in one segment instead of seeing them in separate segments. Might be one positive to take away from that. I think the post-produced boardroom segments are the best way to use authority figures. If that's... you could have a point there. If that's how we see them most of the time, they're not like all over the show like Stephanie McMahon is. If we only see them in the boardroom, and then maybe they make all the calls in like one segment, and then the rest of the show is just their calls being carried out, that's okay. It gets irritating for me when the authority figure takes over the whole damn show. Again, reference Stephanie McMahon. Because I think with authority figures these days, less is more as far as I'm concerned. And but no, Stephanie, she doesn't think so. Honestly, besides Karen being married to Jeff, what is the point of Karen being on the show? There isn't one. Her being married to Jeff is the only point. It's the only reason she's on TV. Okay. Okay, so we have one. Don't like EC3 turning heel if his role is to be a surrogate remnant of Dixie Carter. Well, it would be an easy way to get heel heat on him. You can't deny that. And besides, he's charismatic enough that he can make that work. In my opinion, it really doesn't matter what they use to turn EC3 heel. As long as it happens. I mean, whatever they give him, he can find a way to make it work. He's that good. Allie hasn't wrestled in months on Impact. Can they at least have her in a match for fuck's sake? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need to start getting her in the ring more. I mean, they've established that she's learned how to wrestle now. I mean, she's comfortable getting physically involved and fighting with Sienna a little bit, so it's got to be coming soon. I mean, they're going to have her in the ring with LVN in the next couple of weeks. Because, I mean, LVN's, her body odor is going to be... someone's going to have to talk to her, because that's going to be... It's not going to be fun to be around. They're going to be saying, "Woman, take a shower, clean yourself up." So once she does that, they'll probably get her in the ring with Allie. I mean, it should be soon. At least do some mixed tags, because you got KM and Sienna in there. You could do a mixed tag. Let's get mixed tag next week with Allie. Okay. Impact should make Lashley a tweener. I kind of feel like he is one right now. I mean, he's supposed to be a heel, but then he does that babyface interview, so I'm not sure what he is at the moment. I guess a tweener until I get more information. Should Lockdown be all cage matches this year? Lockdown should be all cage matches every year. That's the gimmick. Green as Hell rookies should not be on Impact, let alone wrestling the Knockouts champion. Agreed. Put Brandy on Explosion until she gets better. Okay. Alright, iffy on the Anthem regime. Shows have been a mixed bag. Okay. I think there's been more good than bad, with the exception of that first show, but alright, personal preference. I do like that they have an intro now. That's cool. Yeah, thank you, Kevin Sullivan. That's something they've been missing for a while. ODB versus Rosemary. Hell no. That because if Brandy can get a lot of offense in on Rosemary, they will probably make ODB look like Awesome Kong. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of. We've lost Jade, Gale, and Brooke for a while, so there are no familiar baby faces for Rosemary. ODB is a temporary, is a necessary evil. Well, I've always kind of classified Rosemary as a tweener, so you could throw her at a baby face, throw her at a heel, which is why I think doing Rosemary versus Diamante right now would be really cool. And Brooke, they haven't lost Brooke for a while. She was only missing for this set of TV tapings, so for the next one, she'll most likely be back. Of course, she needs to shake off the ring rust a little bit. But yeah, I mean, there are other options. I mean, Rosemary really works great regardless of who you can feud her with. So, I mean, you could feud her with a face, you could feud her with a heel. Either way, it works. So they've got options. It doesn't have to be ODB, but I guess I'll take ODB over Brandy. WWE announced a women's tournament for the summer. Impact better lock up some talents ASAP before WWE starts to announce who's going to be in that tournament. Concerned about the women's tournament because if they use women on the current roster, it would really make less people care about the tournament. Well, they can't use people on the current roster, at least not contracted talents. I guess they could use people on pay-per-appearance deals. Not sure they'd go for that, though. But yeah, you're not wrong about locking people into contracts. Kind of seems like that's what they've been doing. I know Rosemary is locked into contract. Pretty sure Allie is as well. Not sure about some of the others. Like how LVN calls Mackenzie Mitchell different names. Yeah, why so many different names? I thought her name was McKenna. According to Sienna. Her name is McKenna. Watched one of your old videos and you liked Hernandez. Yeah, that was... Yeah, one of my old videos. Because opinions change over time. Because I liked Hernandez originally. That was before they exposed him. Because in the original run of LAX, Hernandez was cool. Is when they started focusing on him too much that he was exposed as the sloppy, dangerous worker he was supposed to be. Because, originally he was protected pretty well. It's when they stopped protecting him that he didn't seem so good anymore. Okay. Like last year was Rosemary and Allie's year, I think this year could be LVN and Angel Rose's year. LVN's off to a great start. Abyss is a Jarrett guy and D'Amore trained Rosemary, so they're in good with new management. There's just a lot of new teams to put over, and they're the only established team enough. The established team, though. Yeah, if they're the only established team, it's all the more reason why they should stay looking strong. Because if you start making them look weak, then you've got nobody. Then beating them doesn't really mean much. If you keep them looking strong, then when they do finally get beaten, then it means something. But if they're losing to everybody all the time, then you lose that. Okay. The Karen stuff reminds me of when Allie was getting Allie chants and Gail was getting crickets, yet they kept promoting Gail like she was popular when she clearly isn't. Yeah. It's often a problem when they don't seem to be as in touch with what the fans are telling them as they really should be. Reference Karen. It's an ongoing problem. Josh crossed the line by calling JB slapnuts. That's Jeff Jarrett's catchphrase. Only Jarrett can use that word. And the man who is fond of slapping nuts. Like, that's not your word. Only I can use that word. Our Impact's still low on funds. Well, no. They've got Anthem backing them. Anthem has deep pockets. So, at least for the short term, Anthem are going to be pouring money into this company because they want it to be successful. So, it's not... They probably still have a tight budget, but they got more money to work with than they did a few months ago. Who from Knockouts Knockdown do you want? Or is that spoiler territory? Not really spoiler territory, because we're pretty much seeing all the women they're bringing in, because they're giving them us like a match on Impact here and there. Honestly, Angel Rose, Diamante, and she's already on the roster, so she's the one I'd take. I wouldn't say no to Santana Garrett getting another shot if they actually booked her to her strengths and gave her a fair chance this time, but I don't think that's going to happen. Allie over. Yes, Allie is over. Listen to the ODB pop. ODB is more over. Rosemary all the way versus ODB. Never liked Allie, just annoying and not a good talker. Not a good talker? YouTube the Cherry Bomb Courtney Rush feud in Smash Wrestling. Cherry Bomb is an excellent talker. Yeah, okay, ODB got a big reaction. Okay, because she's a returning star who the fans haven't seen in a while. But here's my argument. She got a big reaction. Okay. Hacksaw Jim Duggan gets a reaction. He always gets a pop when he comes out. Wherever he comes out, in whichever company. Does that mean they should sign Hacksaw Jim Duggan because he gets a reaction? No, he's old as hell. Completely irrelevant. Kind of the same way as ODB. She's probably always going to get some kind of reaction. Might often be a big reaction. Does that mean they should just keep on pushing her? By that mentality, Hulk Hogan would still be a world champion somewhere because he always gets a big reaction. ODB gets a reaction, sure, but she's old, she's out of shape, and she's a fucking one-trick pony. Always has been. Because the same promo every time is the same match every time. Leva Bates also won Knockouts Doctor. That's right, Leva Bates. Yeah, they could bring in Leva Bates, I'd like that. She had the match of the night at Knockouts Knockdown last year. Whenever Gail returns, you know she will have a zillion segments with Karen praising Gail just like in 2011. Yeah. And honest... and no offense to Gail, but since she's been gone, I haven't missed her. I didn't even notice she was gone a lot of the time. And honestly, has the Knockout division really suffered for not having her around? I don't think so. The Jade Rosemary matches were great, so the ring work hasn't really suffered that much. And it's been really refreshing. It was really refreshing to see a new feud. A fresh feud, Rosemary and Jade. We got Angelina and Alicia happening. I don't know if Alicia's going to catch on, but it's something new. We got a new potential feud in Rosemary versus Diamante. That's really cool. I'd like to see that. I'm not missing Gail Kim right now. I'm not missing the entire division being completely focused on one person. I like seeing the focus on these new people. It's refreshing to me. And I'm not looking forward to the day when Gail comes back and it just goes back to being the Gail Kim show. still baffles how ROH is basically on life support and they would rather be bitter and let the company die a slow, painful death instead of joining forces with TNA. If my buddy Raven Effect were here, he'd probably go on a big rant about how ROH are happy being WWE's bitch. And, just imagine if that WWE buyout goes through and they end up buying ROH. I wonder if all ROH fans will be chanting "fuck TNA" then. I'm just saying. The ROH and the ROH fans seem to have it in their heads that Impact is the enemy, and it's not. WWE is the enemy. They're the ones who want the monopoly. Impact Wrestling is a company that's making all these deals with other companies, trying to get other companies to work together for the betterment of the wrestling business. WWE just wants to put everyone else out of business. Hence why they're trying to buy ROH. If you think WWE buying ROH is going to be good for that company, no, they'd ruin it. If they didn't just ransack the company and just raid all the talent and shut the whole thing down, if they didn't do that, if they actually did try to run it as a separate entity, they'd ruin it. They'd put all their own people on there. They'd book it like Raw. They'd probably have the McMahons and Triple H all over the place, and they'd strip mine it and they'd ruin everything about ROH that the fans like. Look, I've tried many times to get into ROH. I can't do it. It's just not for me. I don't like the way they book the show or write the show or structure the show. I don't like the format. I don't like a lot of things about ROH, but there are fans who do. There are fans who like the bare bones meat and potatoes old school style that they present. If WWE buys ROH, that style is going away. I guarantee you. It would not be like that anymore. But no, Impact Wrestling, they're the bad guys. Because fuck TNA and fuck that owl, right? No, Impact are the bad guys. Not WWE, who are trying to buy out ROH. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, why are the women in the Davey-Eddie feud? Surely this had enough tension without the girls added to it. I've wondered about that myself. Maybe it might be because they wanted to add like a new dimension to it because the Davey-Eddie feud has been done before. So maybe this was their way of keeping it fresh and just changing things up a little bit. And I guess I can see that. Davey does come off differently with Angelina out there with him. I think that the jury is out on Eddie and Alicia because I really don't know much about Alexis Nevaeh. But Eddie having somebody out there to help him probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't think the women are strictly necessary, but if they wanted to change up the feud or something so it's not the same as it was the last time wrestling fans saw it, I guess I can understand that. Do you hope Rebel gets a push by feuding with the likes of Diamante and Rosemary more than ODB, which a Rebel ODB feud would be boring as bland as fuck? I don't think Rebel's sticking around. I think she's just there for knockouts, knockdown, and then she'll be moving on. The wrestling industry needs competition. Yes. Yes, it does. WWE would disagree. That's why WWE are the enemy. ROH is a ton of guys who TNA fucked over, so that's why TNA is so hated. And there are a number of ROH people who are getting a fair shake in Impact. Mike Bennett, okay, perfect example. I mean, he's gone now, but you gonna tell me that ROH used Mike Bennett better than Impact did? Because that would be a bold-faced lie. Mike Bennett became a fucking star at Impact while he was there. Not quite the same situation in ROH. The Wolves, another example. Okay, the Wolves pretty much dominated the tag team division in Impact for like, what, 2 years? Now they've got a singles feud going. They're being treated well. And, okay, yeah. There are people in ROH who didn't really get what they deserved, didn't really get treated as well as they should have in Impact. Kaz and Daniels, perfect example. One of the most entertaining acts in the business at one time in TNA. They got booked like shit. They got shoved into the back seat in favor of fucking Chavo and Hernandez, Los Stereotypicos. Made no sense to me. Completely underutilized. Yeah, they're booked better in ROH, but I would argue that the personality has been sucked out of them. Okay, time to wrap this thing up. Their wives being involved adds tension to the feud. Angelina was clearly the muse for Davey's heel turn. Alicia is an effective damsel to help Eddie's sympathy. Okay. I guess there are reasons to do it. Might not be necessary completely, absolutely, but it could add something. I'm not denying that. Not denying that. ROH fans hated Mike Bennett. They didn't like his style of wrestling or his promos. Yeah, hence why, one of the reasons why ROH fans are a little myopic in that regard, I think. Because they don't want entertainment. They don't want guys to have personalities and gimmicks and stuff. But that kind of stuff is really necessary in today's business. You have to be good on the mic. You have to be entertaining. You have to do stuff other than just bare bones wrestling if you want to become a breakout crossover star. I think a lot of ROH fans, not to criticize or anything, but they're kind of stuck in the past a little bit. They're against the business evolving and changing. They just want to stay in their little bubble, in their wrestling bubble, and they want it to be just about wrestling and nothing else. And hey, if that's what you're into, great, more power to you. Again, not criticizing either way, but ROH is not. They're not innovating. Okay, they're not trying to push the envelope. They just want to do what they want to do, and that's always. And as long as they're like that, it's always going to stick them in that particular bubble. And they're never going to produce any crossover stars, any mainstream stars. Because with Mike Bennett, they had the potential for a big mainstream star, and they just didn't utilize him. Because, the fans didn't like what he was doing? All right, well, Impact scooped him up. They let him do what he wanted to do, and the guy became a big star while he was there. They couldn't hold on to him, but they made a star out of him, which ROH did not. So I think ROH fans, they're not seeing the big picture. Again, not criticizing here, just making an observation. What should they do with Bram? Right now I'd settle for them just letting him win a few matches. Okay. Are you gonna watch Ember Moon versus Asuka? Is that happening tonight? No, I'm gonna be at the movies. I think. Okay, last question, and then we're gonna wrap this up. I think a Venom movie could work with Miles Morales. Yeah, but Venom's not a Miles Morales villain, though. He's a Peter Parker villain. How do I say this? It bugs me a little bit that they're kind of shoehorning Miles Morales into the Spider-Man role. Yeah, okay, we're calling him Spider-Man now, but how can he be Spider-Man if Peter Parker is Spider-Man? You're gonna have two people both be Spider-Man? It's just, the whole thing feels awkward to me. It's kind of weird. You want to do Miles Morales? Go ahead, just call him something else. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. You can't have two Spider-Mans. Now they're kind of shoehorning him into that spot. Now they're giving him I think they're giving him a lot of Peter Parker's villains in the comics, giving him Peter's Rogues Gallery. I think I'm not reading the comics right now, but I think they were doing something where Miles was fighting the Black Cat. Black Cat's a Peter Parker. Black Cat was Peter Parker's Rogues Gallery. Apparently she's a villain again, which is stupid, but they're giving him like Peter Parker's villains in order to make people accept him as this character instead of giving him his own identity, which is lame. It's dumb, and I just... Why would you do a Venom movie with Miles Morales? That's not his villain! No, Peter's the one that Venom has all the fucking history with. If they're doing it with Miles, they'd have to contrive all these situations that have no basis in the comics, and I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But a Venom movie, I think, is a dumb idea either way because they're not willing, they're not going to do all the stuff that leads up to it. Because Venom is a character that needs a lot of build-up. You got to build up Eddie Brock. You got to build up, you got to do the Black Costume saga first. And then you got to do Spider-Man versus Venom. That's like 1 or 2 movies at least. And then you wanted to spin off Venom into his own thing afterward. Okay, but to start off with a Venom solo movie, the only way you do that is if you completely change the character. You change his origins. And yeah, apparently that's what Sony wants to do, I guess. But it's stupid and it's not going to work. Because at that point, you're changing everything about the character that fans like. The whole thing just seems like a really bad idea. And it's something that Sony, they're just so desperate to hang on to the Spider-Man license that they think they can do all these spin-off movies with the Rogues Gallery. Like, that's why they tried to make Sinister Six a thing. They think, oh, if we can make a Venom movie, then we can hold on to the license that way so we don't have to keep pumping out Spider-Man solo movies every couple of years. As we can just do it with Venom. No, it's not going to work. A Black Cat, Silver Sable team-up movie, that's a stupid idea too. Because these characters are the most interesting in relation to Spider-Man. If you take Spider-Man out of the equation, the whole thing just becomes really, really awkward. And that's going to be it. I have to leave for the movie theaters because I'm seeing Ghost in the Shell today, with any luck. And I only have one non-3D show, so I have to get to that one. So thanks everybody for joining me. I will see you guys on Thursday. Because this Thursday, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is back, and also I think Arrow and I believe Flash is off for a couple of weeks. Yes. So we got S.H.I.E.L.D. and we got Arrow this week, I believe. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. Also, I'll talk to you next Saturday as well for the next Impact stream in case I have to work. And if I do, it'll be pushed. The stream will be pushed to Sunday, or possibly doing it on Friday. There's always a notice on my Twitter account if I have to change the day. So follow me for updates at TheRealFK9, and I will talk to you guys on Thursday. Peace out.